Hey everybody, my name is Oda and welcome to the first Playfab tutorial part. And in this part we go over how to register and log in a player and do the general setup of Playfab. With this said, let's get right into it. First thing, before we even go into Unreal Engine, let's really quickly install the plugin for Playfab. So what you have to do is you need to go into the Unreal Engine Marketplace and just look for Playfab. There you can see the Playfab SDK, and then you just click install to engine, and I already have it installed, but you need to make sure that it's installed to the most current engine version that you want to use, or depending on what you want to use, the engine version you want to use. And yeah, then that setup should be done. So I just really quickly made an account for Playfab and just logged myself in, and this should be the first thing you see, unless you already have a project, which you can also skip the step. But for those who don't have a project yet, I'm just going to very quickly create one. And those three dots up here, new title, and I'm gonna call this, in my case, tutorial project. And yes, this is gonna be probably multiplayer. And target platform will be Steam and Windows. And yeah, I don't have a genre. And let's just click create title. There we go. Now we have our title set up. With this, we can head back to our profile. Oh, not our profile. Where is it? Well, I guess go back to Playfab because I don't know how to get to it. But right here, this is very important. Copy this ID, you will need it. All right, going back to Unreal, let's create a new project or use the project you already have. It's called tutorials and a Playfab tutorial. Can't write today, and it's gonna be a blueprint project. So create project, and now the first thing we want to do in our project is go to edit, plugins, and here we have our Playfab SDK plugin. So let's just enable it and restart now. After we done that, I'm gonna create a new folder. This folder I'm gonna call blueprints, and well, let's just call it code. Code, and let's make another new folder, and we're gonna call it UI. If you already have a UI, you can skip this step, but for everybody else, I'm gonna really quickly go over how to make a simple UI for logging a player in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a widget blueprint underscore login interface. And the first thing I'm gonna do to this is I'm gonna add a border. Set this to fill. Then I'm gonna add a vertical box and a horizontal box. And then I'm gonna add 4 spacers and also a vertical box again, because I wanna center my content. But before I do that, I'm gonna really quickly go here in border, wrong one, and change the color of it to a bit darker. All right, and so I have the vertical box, so I'm gonna add 4 spacers, 2 top spacers for spacing my content from the top, and 2 spacers to space my content from side to side. So it retains that spacing on every platform, and pretty much on every monitor. All right, so let's set this to fill, set this to 0.1, and I think that's fine. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get a, I'm gonna get another border and replace this vertical box. Replace with, okay, I'm just gonna drag in the border. There you go. Set this to fill, make it a little bit lighter. And in here, I'm gonna place my horizontal box because I wanna have some spacing in here too. And then I'm gonna get a widget switcher, which will be the thing we switch between layout A and layout B. And then another 2 spacers. And there we go. And there we go. So set this these both to fill. Change the fill rating to 0.1. There you go. Actually 0.05. Because I want the text to not hug the edges. All right. Next up, let's make a login field. This login field will just mainly be a item we can use over and over to do our email, our username, our password, and all of that stuff. So let's make a widget blueprint, login field, and we will build the rest of our login stuff out of this login field. So what I'm gonna want first is a vertical box. So let me drag in a vertical box. And this is gonna be our main thing. Let's roughly get it to shape and size. All right, let me do something really quickly over here. There we go. And what we want in here is once a scale box, which is gonna be a scale box filled with text. And this title will be our, well, it will be our title. So I'm gonna prefix this with title or name the and this should be variable. And in our setup, in our pre-construct, we want to make a new variable, which is gonna be a, is it a, yeah, it's a text. Okay, this is gonna be a text, and this is gonna be item name. All right, this is gonna be our item name for this. Let's call it title name. Let's be consistent. Title name. There you go. And let's take this title name, drag it in here, and set text. What we can do with this is we can set the text of this here when we actually use this. So when we type in something, we can set the text here. All right. Like when we actually drag this into here, like we can actually really quickly show that off. If we go to it, user created, login field. Now we should have, if I actually exposed it, which I didn't. There you go. And save this. Now we have no text, and we can put, for example, test text in there. And now we have a field where we can change the name without having to do more stuff. All right. Then we need a second part, which is actually our input field. So we're gonna get another scale box and just drag this in here. And then a text box. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take those both and set them to fill. Set this to fill. How to fix some of the visual issues. If you just give it a texture, even if it's just as plain material, it won't have those weird edges. But what I actually did with this is I made it so it automatically scales the text, so it's always on screen. I'm gonna show an example of that later. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name this to main text box, and I want to get those 2 events on changed, actually uncommitted, uncommitted. Then what I want in here is a variable which is called is email. So with this we cannot check if we have a @ in there, and if we have our @ in there, and we want to also expose this, and then we want a this would be optional. Okay. What you can also do is you can also have a string array if you want to, for example, limit certain things, like limit certain symbols. You can call this a symbol checker, and you can also expose this. And for example, you can either make it so it has to contain a symbol. So if you go right here and you would do this to string, and you just check if this contains, yes. Okay, and you can just check if the string contains this string. This could be useful if you, for example, don't want players to use I don't know, question marks, use some weird keys. You can limit it this way. I mean, it's not really necessary, but if you want to, you can do that, and you can just loop through this, turn this into a custom function. I'm getting a bit sidetracked, but this might be useful for somebody. And yeah, okay, that's fine. And with this, if we hit once a false, then we want a return value, which we can just where's my options for this? There you go. Let's return value a bool, contains illegal item. I don't know, something like this. And if it is true, we want to return true. And if after all this time it doesn't have a legal item, we can just return false. And we can call this, for example, check for illegal item. And this way you can check, for example, if it has, like, you can just add symbols to this and check if it has a legal symbol, and then you can just run a branch right here. And if it does, you can do one type of code. If it doesn't, you can do another type of code. This might be useful for somebody, so I just want to really quickly put it in here. But yeah, so what I want to do next up, I want to actually go over how to make a minimum checker. So we can check a minimum amount of length a username has to have. So in variables, I'm going to make a new integer, and this is gonna be register name. No, that's not gonna be register name. Min length, and I'm gonna expose this on spawn, and I'm gonna convert this to a string, and I'm gonna get the length. If length is bigger, so if this is bigger than this, we can do something. And so we just check if minimum length we can later set is longer than our min length here, then we just display it. Yeah, then we enable it. I'm gonna go into the enabling part in a second. I'm sorry, I'm doing this pretty much out of my head, everything. So this min length, this checks for a minimum length of the text typed in, and then we can return something. So the thing we want to do now is we want to create an event dispatcher. Why do we want to create an event dispatcher? So we can, for every text box we have, we can just simply hook up a event dispatcher and then simply just use that to do what we want. I mean, that's a short explanation, but for an event dispatcher, if we have it set up here and we drag it here, we can actually use the events we have from this event dispatcher. I'm gonna show how to use that in a second. So let's make an event dispatcher and call it something like is field valid, and there you go. What we want is we just want a bool which is valid, and we can just call this, and I didn't compile. Oops, did I really not name that? Yeah, I did. So let's just drag this in again. There you go. And if we're in the... oh yeah, I need to do another check in here. So I need to actually check if this contains, not this contains, contains, and the substring we want to use for is a add, because this, if it's an email, it should be an email. And if it contains an add, we go into true. And then on the bottom here, we want to go into a false if either the thing is too short or if the email doesn't have a add. All right. Then the next thing we want in here is a field for is password. All right. And then here on pre-construct, what we want to do is we want to get this field here, the main text box, and is password, set as password, and set it to if it's a password. And hint text, and also, yeah, we want to also have a hint text. So we're going to drag this off and set hint text. All right, let's make a new variable here, which we're going to just promote this to a variable. Oops, get away from there. And this is going to be a hint text, instance editable, and expose on spawn, instance editable, and expose on spawn. So if we, for example, now drag this, oops, wrong one, this in, we have a bunch of options here. So we can change the min length, we can use the symbol checker, which I don't really use right now, and we can check if it has an email, is it a password, and yeah. And over here we can hook this up and we can check if the field is valid. But we don't want to just straight up add this in here. Let's go to that setup. So we need another 2 widget blueprints, but for one we just make one. And I'm going to call this widget blueprint login. I should have called it login field. Let's just call it widget blueprint login. I'm not really consistent with my names right now, which is not the best, but we can work through it. Okay, so what I want first is I want a vertical box, just packed it in here. I want a scale box and a text, which is gonna be just our title. There you go, let's set this to fill. Add another vertical box, put it below this vertical box, set this also to fill, and set this to fill to 0.1. And then we go just into this text and center it. And this is gonna be our login screen. So I'm gonna give it the name login. All right. So let's get free of our, no, for login we need 2. So we need 1 and 2 login fields. I'm just gonna set them to fill and fill. And then I'm gonna take a spacer, which takes the fill for a third one. Oops, that's one too many. So 1, 2, 3. Then I want a button. This is not gonna be the most beautiful. It should be more functional for now. So I apologize for that. Then I take a scale box. Actually, I can just wrap this with a scale box. Okay. Scale box, and just do this, and then put a text in there, which is gonna be, in my case, login. And you can just change all the colors of those things. That shouldn't be an issue. And yeah. So let me look at something really quickly. All right. Then what I want is another field down here, which is gonna be a spacer for our recovery email, but I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. So I'm gonna make this 1.5. And then on the bottom, we want another button. And this is switch to register, switch to register. All right. And something I'm gonna really quickly do is set this to 0.75. This is way too big. And go into here. Actually, no, I won't change colors. I know I don't like how it looks, but you can fix it yourself if you want to. And I'm gonna change a bit of the scaling around. So I'll set this to 0.5. 0.5. This is not like the setting up here is not planned, so it looks a bit junky. But we want to make 2 event dispatches. But before that, I want to set this to is email, minimum length 4, and is password, minimum length to 4, and type in your password and type in your email address. There you go. And so we have a email address, which is set here. Oh yeah, email and password. Whoops, I forgot that accidentally. There you go. So we have a field for a player email and a field for a player password. Let's make a copy of this. Let's just duplicate this and call it register. So register, because we need to do some more stuff with it. Then let's replace this fill box, spacer. And this is gonna be our email, password, username. Okay. This is gonna be our username. All right. And this is type in your username. All right. So we have email address, username, and password. And I want to do a few small things also. Then in the login, wrong one. Not login, actually login field. There was something I forgot. Oh yeah. Here, I also want to provide a string, which I call current text, which is just a string. All right. And this current text is gonna be our text right here. And invalid, not invalid, invalid. There you go. If this is valid, we also want to provide a string. We don't really, actually no, we don't want to do that. I just forgot that. Okay, so let's actually remove this and refresh this down here and actually make a variable which we're gonna call current text, and we're just gonna set this afterwards. There you go. That's what we want to do. All right. We could also do the other way, but I just realized this is a bit simpler and easier to understand. So, in login, I want to create a new button in between here. So let's make a new one of those. It looks messy, I know. And change all those threes to 0.25. There you go. And this is gonna be recover email and switch to register, and then in register switch to login. All right. So I want to hook up 2 event dispatches, starting with register. which I'm going to call switch to login. And in login, do the same, switch to register. All right. And on switch to login, we want to call that event we just created. So switch to login, we want to call this. On login, switch to register, we want to call this, and then call this. All right. We're gonna do the recover email in a second. I'm gonna call this button recover email also. All right, but let's just deal with the login first. So every time we check if this field is valid, we wanna do something. But until then, we wanna go over here, and if it's valid, we wanna have variables for that. So login fee. Okay, I should also rename them. So widget blueprint email, widget blueprint password. There we go. And if email and password is right, so if this is valid, we just set this to our login email, login password. Yeah, it's actually right. Okay, so we set this to our login email and password, and we want to make this disabled from the start. So we want to disable it, and then every time we want a custom event, check login. And if this and this is valid, we wanna, actually we can just take the login button. Let's also rename those. We can just take the login button and set is enabled. There we go. Is enabled. It's enabled. There we go. So with this, we can just check if we have our things met in our here. And if we have those met, we want to just set this button to enabled so we can actually attempt a login. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create, I'm going to actually go into my code, create a game instance, because a game instance survives during the whole gameplay part. And yeah, with this, I'm gonna make a game instance called GI main. And I'm not gonna do much with it, but just to remember, we will need an email address for our, we will later need an event for register, login, and account recovery. But when we're gonna do this afterwards. So what I wanna do is in the, do I have everything? No, I don't have it when we click on button. We want a event dispatcher and attempt login. All right. And this attempt login should have two variables, which one is email and one is password. Password. There we go. And we just want to put those two strings. There you go. Call this. Then take our email and our password. We want to get, how did I call it? Login field, current text. Current text. There you go. Email and password. All right. Then in our login field, not in our login field, login interface, we want to get our widget switcher and rename this to switch login. Then in user created, we want a login and our register, so we can just easily switch between those. And yeah, so we're gonna take the first one, take the switch to register. You're gonna take the second one, switch to login, and then we're gonna get our widget switcher, set active widget. There we go. In our case, we wanna switch to register, so let's just do this. And on the bottom, we wanna switch to login, so we can just do this. All right, and let's make a third one really quickly, and to register recover email. And all we want in there is an email address and a back button. Oh, back and here, button, back. There you go. So in here, we just want the email address and check. Switch to, what would we, login. Okay, switch login, that's perfect. So we want to call switch to login. So we have the email address, and every time we check if this field is valid, we want to call request account recovery. And only if this is valid, we want to disable it from the beginning. So if this email thing does our requirements, we want to then on account recovery, we want to generate another event dispatcher and attempt account recovery. There we go. And what we want to do this, what we want to add here is just a string and email. Then we want to just call this and get our field current text and put this in. I'm gonna go over all the widgets we created and go over a bit more detail in a second. Oh yeah, let's refresh notes, hook this up again. There we go. If this is valid, we want to take our button recovery and we want to set enabled is enabled, set is enabled to true and false. Right. And then I hooked up the back button. There you go. And this should all be done. Then we wanna go back in our login and hook this on clicked up. Account recovery. And we're just gonna do a simple call to this. And then let's go back to our login interface and get a, how did I call it? Did I close it? Yeah. Login field, recover email, there we go. Let's go back to login, put this in here. Oops, that's wrong. We want this in, oh yeah, that's the wrong blueprint. Let's Control X that. That was my mistake. I should have named those better. Login interface. There we go. That's what we want. So we want to go in here, add this, and Let's hook up all of those. There you go. Then we want to set this, and then we want to take our recovery email. And I forgot one dispatcher, I think, for going back. No, I called it switch to login. Why doesn't it show up? Or did I just miss it? Oh no, I'm just special. This is not in here. Okay. Switch to login, which is blueprint login. I apologize for that. And then we call here what we want to call. I think I added it to login. Account recovery. There we go. This is what I want. So let's take this down here. And recover email, there we go. And now we shouldn't be navigating, be able to navigate. So let's just open a level blueprint, create widget, login interface. This I really quickly just want to make sure that my stuff works. Nah, don't want, not save. So register. There you go, it works. We can switch from A to B. You can type out text, 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 and all that. So if we, for example, yeah, we're in login, test@gmail.com, test. I'm doing something wrong. Why don't you go ready? Okay, let me really quickly debug this. All right, one thing I only forgot is check login. And let's finish up the registering part too, because I now know the login part works. So in register, we wanna hook up all the field valids. Just really quickly steamroll through this. It's already very long, I apologize. So with this, we wanna set variables. Login. Okay, login email, login username, login password. There you go. Login email, login username, and promote this to variable, login password. There you go. Then we have username and password, and then we want a custom event. Check is text valid. I named the other one differently, but yeah, I just want to get through it now without wasting too much of your time. So we want to set this to disabled at beginning and enabled, set as enabled. There we go. And if and, because we need login email, login username, and login password. Straighten this out. All right, if all those three are valid, we want to be able to use that button. Check is text valid and hook those three up to it. So yeah, what we're doing is we're checking if those three are valid. If they are, we want to enable login, and we want to make a custom event for that. And let's just call it attempt login, and we want 3 parameters. All those 3 should be a string, a string, a string, and this email, username, password. All right. And when we click that button, the login button. Let's rename it very quickly. Unclicked. We want to attempt login, a call. Oops. And we want to get current text. There you go. Copy those three over. Email, password, username, oops. Email, username, and password. There we go. And now in our login, that's the wrong one. Let's just close all of those down. Go in our login field and really quickly save everything. Test map. There you go. Let's just save that. All right. That's also not login field. I need to go into my login interface. And yep, register, attempt register, but that's fine for now. And recover email. I have all of those hooked up, so let's just drag them down. All right. Now we're getting to the code part. Let's continue. I made one thing very quickly. I got my ID because I don't know if I can show that. So I want to make a event in it, which is our initialization, and then I want to set Playfab settings. And the thing I want to do is I'm going to just hook this up. All right. So we need 3 functions. One function to register a user. So let's just make a custom event, register user. And what we want in here is 3 strings. So first one is going to be username, email, username, and password. Then I'm just going to make a copy of this, and with just one less, which is username. And let's rename this to login user. And then recover account. And the last one will just be an email. There we go. So with those 3, we want to really quickly head one last time to our UI, login interface. And what I want to here is, first of all, edit, not plugins, project settings, because we want to also set this game instance to be valid. So in maps and modes, go into game instance in GI main. All right. So in here on our begin play construct, we want to get game instance, cast to GI main, and promote this to a variable. So we always have a reference with it. So ref GI main. So this is our just a ref to our game instance main as a reference. All right. Then I'm gonna take that ref GI main and register. Login. And recover. And yeah, so let's save this, go back in here, and then I want to call an event, which is in register user. I want to call register Playfab user all the way on the top. Yeah, well, but it's register Playfab user, oh yeah, it's register Playfab user, because I want the email login. You have a lot of options with it, but I want the email login, and I want to drag off the request pin and make one, and the display name is going to be our username, email, password, username. There you go. So we have those now hooked up, just making sure. Username goes in display name, email goes in email, password goes in password, and username goes in username. All right. Then we have two events. One is on failure. We want to add an event, and we want to call that on failure. And what we want to just do is split the struct pin and print string out our with an append, because we want to know exactly what's happening. So we want to have our error message and our error name. All right. And then on success, we want to make another custom event, which is gonna be on register success. There you go. And on register success, we wanna open a new level. So let me just really quickly make a new level and call it something like completed login, and then just put something here so we can differentiate that we're now in this level instead the other one. There you go. Let's just do this. There you go. And then copy this username and then just call open level. There you go. And now we need to also do the login part. So in here, we're just gonna drag in login login with email address. We can just hook up the event failure on there you go. We should just be able to do this. And on success, we want to create a custom event, and we're gonna call it on login success. And on login success, we also want to just open a level. I'm just gonna make sure and just manually hook this up into here. And then on the last, we have one more thing. You want to send account recover email. And in this stuff, we want to break it. We want to make it, sorry, not break it. And we want to put email in here. And also here we want to make it email and password. And on success, well, on failure, we can just hook it up back to here. But I think I can just create an event, and it's this. The issue is I never used those much, so I don't know. But let's just try it. There you go. And on success, we want a custom event on register, on recover account. There you go. And on recover account, we want to print string account recovery sent. There you go. And I think this is all, if I'm not wrong. So let's go ahead and test it out. So yeah, let's give it a shot. So I have my Playfab over here, so we can check if the user got added. So let's go in here, paste our email, yeah. Oops, I still have my toggle breakpoint, so ignore that. There we go. Dev, and password's gonna be There you go. Now we can just click normally register, but I forgot to rename the button. Let's click register. And we have our account registered. So if we go on players again. There we go. There it is. Autodef. There we go. It worked. And we can also check our email here. There we go. It worked. We have our user registered. So let's go back in here. Let's try the same with logging in with our user. So let's just paste my email in here. Oh yeah, I also have a toggle breakpoint on there. So let's just remove this. I like debugging my stuff before doing the final video part. And let's just type in our password, enter, and then we can click login. Hey, it works. So we logged into our user. And the last thing we want to test is our recovery email. So let's just paste it in here. Request account recovery. So I apologize for the last, but I actually made a mistake on my side. Because if we look for recovery email, we have one in the admin account management section and one in the client account management, and I accidentally did the wrong one. So let's just hook this up. On success, custom event, on account recovery, and on failure we want to just hook up back here. There. I apologize for that. I was very confused there because it worked before, but I didn't realize I used the wrong template. All right, so what I can do now is I can save this, click play, recover email, and paste it in here. Request account recovery. And Did I use another email accidentally and I forgot? Yeah, I did. I used another email. Whoops. So let's just click play. Go in rear, paste our email. No. Account recovery sent. And now if I go in my inbox, if I go into the right one, there you go. We can see a account recovery. And which one is the newest one? There you go. If we click on here, we can change our password just simply by doing this. Oops. There you go. And if we go back in our engine, go back and try to log in with our new password now. So let me try my new password. And we're back in. So we can change the user's password. You can request a password request. And yeah, with this said, let's go really quickly over the code, what we did. So let's start with the UI. Go into our login interface. First, we have 3 separate UIs. One for login, where we can type in an email and a password. This login section has subsections of login fields, which we added some code to manually check if they are valid, and if they do, and we can add some limitations and all that. And we did some illegal item thing. You can technically also search for strings there. So if you want a database of banned strings, you can also add this in here, like words you don't want users to use and names and all that. You can use this for. And yeah, this checks if it's valid. Then we have a password section, and we have a account recovery, which switches to another tab, and we have a register section, which is just a simple register section where we have the same checkings, and if all those 3 fields are enabled, we enable the login button. And over here we have our GI main, where we do our calls. So in event init, we have our ID, which we need to set. Like I said, it's the one that's visible in Playfab. At the beginning of the video, I talked about that. And we have our register user where we just input the name, email, and username and password. And depending if we have any errors, we go in on failure. If we success, we open a new level, and we pretty much do that for free. With this said, this will be the first part of the Playfab tutorial series. If you have any questions, make sure to send me a question in the YouTube comments. Sorry about that. And if you have any requests, what do you want to request for future Playfab tutorials, make sure to put them in the comments down below. With that said, this was the basic Playfab tutorial on how to register a user and how to log in a user. And with that said, I wish you all an amazing day and goodbye.